What's going on, guys? It's your boy Miami the Great. I am here for episode 11, DWE Radio. We will be talking about the fallout of what happened on Monday Night Raw, everything that happened, our thoughts and stuff. Thanks for everyone just sitting, waiting for us. Here we will be posting the call in. Just let us know. Put it in the chat, and we'll put it on our timeline. If you want to call us, if not, you can make your comments. We will be read. They will be read online. Please, if you want to go back, check this out on Spotify. This is DWE Radio, the radio that's not on the radio. We're live on Twitch. Follow us on Twitch. That's DWE Radio, or follow us on our company podcast. That's Talking Up Podcast on X, or follow me on X. That's Miami the Great 305, where I am live on. And follow my co-host, Final Boss Baby 2Bs 1Y CFO on X. How is everyone doing today? Mike check. Can you hear me, Final Boss Baby?
Yes, I can.
Oh, that's a shock. Then I'm glad you can. Um,
Yay.
um, yeah, I'm kind of on the road. Kind of came on camera, but they
Okay.
the Spotify kept kicking me out. So, but
Mm.
hey, at least I'm listening to DW Radio while I'm at work, and I hope everyone else is too. So they really
The
know that
radio that's
we
not on the
really,
radio.
yeah, the radio is not on the radio. But hey, how's everyone doing this afternoon? We will not be going live this Saturday, so do not adjust your your dial tone. This is the DW Weekly show for this week because Final Boss said, "Hey, SmackDown has not been good, so let's do it through the middle of the week." And let's hope that The Rock doesn't show up on Saturday because I'm not doing it live. Final Boss will be doing it by herself, talking about The Rock. So who knows? uh, but yes, we're definitely going to get into some things today. We're going to first start off. I know we had first got the gauntlet final boss baby. I think this will kind of get us started with two of our topics that we got today. I'm really surprised that WWE started
I
kick.
actually did not want to start with the gauntlet. I actually was going to start with the masked man, but
Well,
okay.
was that the first thing that happened? I
Yes, it
can't
was.
remember.
That's what opened the show.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
that
Well,
yes.
let's start off with that then. I thought for some reason I thought well, I guess because I came in late and I did start watching Raw late. But yeah, we did start off with the Masked Man. You are correct. We did start off with the Masked Man. Adam Pearce was out in the ring. He was calling out Seth Rollins, and they did this weird thing where they brung out maybe like 20, 30 of the masked men that from what I'm hearing, I guess is from Seth Rollins' school. I don't know for sure. That was not confirmed. I don't know if they were from his school or did they get some extra people. You know how sometimes they get local people from local wrestling schools that they could have probably got to do this segment. But they did this weird little shuffle thing in the ring where um, they did a shuffle and they revealed that one of the masked men was Seth Rollins, which I was like, oh my god. I don't know what they're doing, what kind of angle they're going with this, or what direction they want to go with it. But basically, Adam Pearce kind of warned Seth Rollins the things that they trying to make Seth Rollins that over the past few months, Seth Rollins has been the one to attack Division. He was the one that attacked Bronson Reed. He was the one that attacked Logan, well, not Logan Paul, but Braun Breaker, and also Austin Theory and all that. Um, Before it was revealed to be Seth Rollins, at Elimination Chamber. So he warned Seth that kind of stop doing what he was doing, or he may get hurt because Seth Rollins is not clear, which I did not know. Now I don't know if that's really real, or they're going to use this as a storyline angle, because I know one time Seth Rollins did do this before. If anyone knows about his classic match with him and Triple H, where they did at WrestleMania, where it was a sanctioned match. I was thinking that they was going to go the same direction, Final Boss, with division. I was thinking that at first they was gonna probably just do a match between him and Logan Paul, but it doesn't seem like that's the direction they're gonna go. It seems like the Usos are more involved with Austin Theory and Logan Paul more. I think that maybe when, especially because um, with Seth attacking Paul Heyman, I'm thinking that there's it's gonna probably be Seth and maybe Brock Lesnar, because it seems like they don't forgot about the open challenge. But yeah, he kind of warned them. Then you get the Vision coming out, um, warning Adam Pearce that, hey, we're gonna put a hurt to Seth Rollins, and it's gonna be tonight. So he get the Vision actually gets in the ring. Seth Rollins puts back on the mask and disappears in the crowd of the sea of masked men, and then gets in the crowd and start running off. I was like, oh my god, I really didn't like this segment, Final Boss. It felt on deaf ears for me. It's not getting. Okay, we did the masked man with Austin Theory. We did the masked man now with Seth Rollins. I felt like we should move away from it now. I don't know why they are milking it. If you ask me, Final Balls, it was not a great segment to get to the point of where we're trying to get to, because if you're not going to do Seth versus maybe Logan or Austin Theory, who are you going to do it with? Now I know Monday Brock Lesnar's supposed to show up at Raw. So I'm wondering if they're going to do something maybe there, because which Paul Heyman, they said on commentary, Michael Cole said that Paul Heyman is out indefinitely. We know the last time they said that he was with Roman Reigns, and he came back with CM Punk. So I'm wondering if Paul Heyman will come back either with Breaker or Brock Lesnar, and that's maybe how we get to Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar. But right now, I did not like the segment. It was not one of the best for me tonight. If I wanted a graded Final Boss, I'll give it a F, man. I didn't like it, and it had Seth Rollins in there. I know Seth tried to do what he tried to do with what gave him. I don't know if he can fight. He might have to wait to Mania to be clear. That's maybe why they're doing simply stuff like this, because he can't get physical just yet. But I didn't like the segment, Final Boss. That's just my thoughts. What was your thoughts so far of this whole mass man thing, and where you feel like they are going with it so far?
Yeah, so a couple things. So I see a lot of people are comparing this Sea of Masked Men to things that are comedy. Like I seen it to compare to, I think it was on X. Someone had compared it to, I don't even remember what they said, but me, I did on my X where I had compared it to one of my favorite games. Shouts out to those who are still on the PS2 out there, because that's where it came on. Kingdom Hearts. Um, when you first start the Kingdom Hearts, the whole story is, you have Kairi, not Kairi saying people, but Kairi, and Sora, and they're on the beach with Riku. And then next thing we know, all these little heartless start coming out the ground. They're small, all black, or you can see just the eyes, and they're scrambling around. And I actually posted a GIF of that on my X account. That's what it reminded me of. But I watched it again, and it also reminded me of, hey, I'm from the city. Originally, I'm from New York, from Harlem. And you know, the rodent problem and the insect problem is not a secret. It reminds me of when you go to the kitchen late at night, turn the lights on, and they all start running. I'm talking about roaches. That's the vibe that it gave me. So I'm like, either two things: either somebody who's watching this play Kingdom Hearts, the first one on PS2, or they seen a whole bunch of roaches run when they turn the lights on. Um, I think on paper it made it probably sounded or the idea of it sounded or looked or felt more impactful than what it would be. Because what we saw, it was kind of wonky and made us laugh and maybe cringe. But on paper, it should have been like, he's surrounded by this large group of men, a sea of, nobody can take him out because he has so many men around him. Hey, forget the vision, forget, any group that can come and get him because this guy has like 20, 30 guys. And if they have four guys, he's gonna add 20 more guys. I mean, that should have been it. I guess that was the idea. Like Seth has such a big group. He has all these random lackeys to back him up where no matter who he faces, he's gonna have this extreme amount of backup. You can't touch him. And they're all kind of following him as the leader. I think that's the idea. On paper, it sounds kind of like a cool idea, but it's just seeing it in 4K is where it gets wonky and really funny. Um, and I think the also idea with the Masked Man and with Seth. Now, of course, we had to pivot because we got the injuries of Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Um, but I think the idea of Seth now, we talked about having a group was, right now is to him always having a very powerful group. Because remember, we're talking about Seth Rollins, who was what the architect or really the leader, you know, of the Shield. Of course, we also had people like to go ahead and forget it, but Retribution, back when he was the Messiah. Remember that? Awesome Theory. We also, and of course, we have, Division. So this is a guy who has led these power groups or what is presented as power groups. So now here he is, such a legend, so big where he doesn't have one, two, three, four guys in his corner. He has 20, 30, 40, 50 guys that are there to protect him, and he's leading them all. Um, and I think on paper, you seeing 20 masked men running around, and then ultimately it's kind of like a messiah, like where he reveals the leader to be Seth and pull off the mask. It does kind of sound pretty good on paper. It just wasn't delivered that way. I've seen a lot of people kind of make fun of one of the masked men who was a bit on the hefty side. I've seen that. So I don't know if these guys are actually wrestlers from his school. I know that the previous reveals, came back to be so, the ones that Logan Paul had revealed. But I don't know what if I don't think the idea of it is to really reveal these masked men. I don't think we're ever gonna have a reveal of who these masked men are, and if we did, it'll probably be down the line. There'll probably be maybe one or two in that slew of masked men who turn out to be um, someone that we know or at least heard of, whether it be an up and comer from a different promotion, from NXT, or one of the stars on the main roster. I think right now the idea is they're pretty much their bodyguards for Seth Rollins. We won't ever know who they are, but if you want to get to Seth Rollins, you have to go over this wall, which is all these men. If you think about it, no one can beat him because you have a match with Seth Rollins. 20 of these people are going to come out and distract you or beat you down. He's untouchable. That's the whole idea. Is he's being an untouchable force. He went from leading a group of two men because remember at that time all we had was Bronson Reed um, and Braun Breaker. We didn't have Logan Paul in theory until later, until after the turn, and he was gone. Now he went from just leading just two people to actually leading, a large party of men. So if you think about it that way, the idea sounds kind of freaking cool. It's just seeing it on the screen and how it's presented doesn't look to be that way. But I think as far as like where we're going, and that's the question here, is that I believe that you're gonna see much more stuff with these masked men. Same thing as we saw on Monday, where they all kind of come out. whether it be they're swarming around him, whether it be he enters the ring and they all kind of stand around the ring, and that old school, we kind of had a kind of like a lumberjack, things like
Hmm.
that. You'll see that kind of play into future storylines. And I think the idea is that if a opponent comes up to Seth Rollins, he's gonna stand there frozen because you're gonna see 20 masked men running. Like which one is Seth Rollins? And then he'll reveal himself to be Seth Rollins. That's the idea. But I think we'll see that for a while. And then you'll see them kind of pivot to where they'll have maybe one, two, maybe even three of them be revealed to be someone that's noteworthy that we have, seen or know of. I think, and that's the idea. Um, so, so I kind of like it if that's where they're going with it. I just think that delivery of it should be better. I don't think it's coming out how we're describing and how I think WWE envisioned it to look like. Now, as far as he's not being cleared and all this stuff, you could be 100% right. He may not be cleared until a certain time. So they're kind of using this to kind of, really gain us some time for Seth to, have him go through the protocols to be cleared. Um, you see, he has to be really close to being cleared if he's back. So it's really buying him time. Or it could be he is cleared, but they don't want to actually have him get physical because they want to save that big moment for him to do it at WrestleMania, or at least not be at least taking any bumps or hits until probably the go home show before WrestleMania. They're saving that. They're saving that moment because think about it. If Seth had a match next week, then it kind of diminishes the return of him in ring action for WrestleMania. I think the only problem here now is that we don't really know, and WWE doesn't really know who he can face because the original plan is out the window because Braun Breaker is out and he is reported he won't be back in time. I mean, it's his next month. Same thing with Bronson Reed. So I don't know whose opponent is going to be. So I think it also buys us time or buys WWE time on who he can actually have as the actual opponent. Um, Now, wacky thing, they could do Logan Paul and Austin Theory versus Seth, and the Masked Men, where they don't know it's going to be two Masked Men, three last men, five Masked Men. Is just a whole bunch of masked men, and that's the story. Now, that part sounds cool, but seeing it in the match would probably be clunky because I don't. How can two people fight like 20 guys? But I think that will be a good story. It'll also be a way where they will reveal themselves to be a superstar. So you have Adam Pearce said, will say something like, well, I don't care, which of the masked men, you use against Logan Paul and Theory, but you have a match and then we don't know who it is. And it's revealed to be, you know, whoever it is, whoever they want to use. So I think that's a good way to have Seth Rollins be inserted into a group and inserted into a match for WrestleMania where it's a surprise where it's just Logan Paul and Austin Theory versus Seth Rollins and two of his masked men, and we have no idea who. You have Seth Rollins come out, nice entrance. You have the slew of these masked men kind of running around. They enter the ring. Seth is in the middle. They swim around again. And then Seth takes off his mask. They swim around again. And then the next guy reveals his mask, and that's Superstar. Then they do it again, and that's the other person. I think I would like that. And hopefully, WWE, TKO, Triple H, if you're listening, I think it's a great idea. I know you lost Road Dogg. So, hey, I am feeding you the meal. So if you want to go ahead and take a bite of it, Make sure you send me an email, DM at Final Boss Babies. That's two B's, one Y, CFO on X, and I'll be happy to go ahead and throw some ideas at you.
Well, let's make some. Can you hear me, Fan Boss? I was someone said I was
Yes,
double
yes.
echo. Okay, okay. I was just making sure because I was told that I was double echoing. I didn't want to be echoing. Let's do a few shouts out. Shouts out to Z. One of fans that always coming to DW Radio. Shouts out to you, man. Thanks for stopping by. Shouts out to Greg. Everyone knows Greg from DWE, so shouts out to you, man, for reposting the space. Shouts out to After the Slam. Y'all guys go check him out. Proud member of the DWE family. Go check out After the Slam podcast on YouTube. So shouts out to you, Slam, for stopping by. Um, Back to what you said. You said something very interesting. I'm surprised the one didn't comment it. That
Mm.
is very Vince McMahon ass booking that you just did. It's very. I'm talking about.
Everybody stands around
Pat,
the ring. Yeah. Mhm.
yeah, it was very not just that the whole getting okay. You got to face one of the masked men. We don't care who it is. It reminded me of
Mhm.
one well either pandemic or before pandemic. It's sort of like in that area. I would say in that neck of the woods. Um, I can see them doing that because
Hey,
I know
hey,
me and
hey,
you.
hey! You mean Miami's favorite era, the Thunderdome era?
Oh
Yeah,
Lord.
yeah.
Well, look, I stayed, but because, and that I stayed because it's a passion and I love wrestling, so that's that there. But anyway, I know you. It's funny that you said retribution because I think it was either Dijak or one of the members that used to
Retribution,
be
yeah.
and
Dijak, yep.
retribution. Yeah, real retweeted it and said they're getting PTSD when they seen that whole thing, and he compared it to
Oh, okay, wow.
retribution, and I was like, oh man, I hope not. That's not the case, but
Yeah, and it's crazy how I had forgotten all about Retribution because that was just a couple years ago. That was when we got the Messiah version of Seth Rollins. Now, as he later found out, that is the one gimmick that he really, really didn't like was the Messiah gimmick. Personally, I'm a big fan, of course, Shield Rollins, but I was a huge fan of Monday Night Rollins, Seth freaking Rollins. Those were the two that I liked the most. But yeah, I had totally forgot about Retribution. When people said Seth Rollins, I automatically chill Vision because Vision was the most recent. It had potential, it flopped, but I had totally forgot about Retribution until I saw this Raw and I saw, you know, with the black and everything. I was like, oh, that reminds me of the Messiah. Um, but so hey, that
yeah,
also
I remember
shows you.
retribution had quite
Yeah,
a few people in
Retribution.
there that
Yeah, but and I have to go and
yeah,
see
yeah, they
who
had
all the members
Omos,
were. I don't even
Michin,
remember.
and
Um,
I think Omos, Michin.
well, hold on, because I have to go look because
I know you had
I
I
don't
know you had
remember.
Dijak.
Well, I remember Dijak, but I don't remember the rest of the members. Let me go take a look.
Um, it was so many at first. Remember when they came in and did the little ring and tore up the. I thought that storyline was gonna go somewhere. But yeah, one of the members did say that, and I was like, I didn't get that when they did the little scramble thing. Somebody compared it, and I forgot about this. And Slam might like this one, and I did not. I'm not gonna lie, Slam. I did not think this either. But they compared it to when Steen came out in WCW when they was had this whole feud with him and the NWO, and they did like a lot of stings. Everyone had on the same black and white paint. They had on the jackets and everything, and they was coming down to the ring, and one of them revealed to actually be Sting. I didn't get that either. I didn't feel that same feeling because that moment when Sting
Okay,
did that,
so Retribution
it was just such a
had
great
T
moment.
Bar.
Go ahead.
Well, it had T
Yeah, I
Bar.
remember
It
him.
had Mia Yim, which is of course Mi Chen now.
Me,
And it also
yeah, me
had
and Mitch.
Dijak, who was going around as Slapjack.
Yeah, Slapjack. Yeah, I remember that. Jesus Lord, that crazy name. Should be my Fossil Ali, right? Uh oh, did we lose Flying Balls yet? Uh, Might have lost me.
I don't see that, so I'm not gonna go ahead and claim it because I don't see that on there. But no,
Oh, see
I don't
what?
see anything.
I didn't even hear you.
I don't see anything about Mustafa Ali. I don't think he was in
Oh,
that.
really?
Mm-mm.
I
And I
thought he
don't
was in
really
there.
remember
Okay,
Mustafa
maybe I
Ali
could be
being in a
wrong.
group. Now I could be wrong. I remember him being a call up for NXT, him going to SmackDown, him having a
Hmm.
storyline where he was like on the streets and because he used to be a cop in like DC and he would be walking around cutting promos kind of like in the outside and then next thing we know we didn't see him for a while and then they had the SmackDown hacker, and then later on in interview we found out
Yeah,
that
I
the
remember the
idea was
hacker.
was,
Yeah,
was for him
yeah.
to
Because
be
I
the
think he supposed to
hacker.
been the hacker.
So
Yeah, I remember them saying that. I do remember them saying he must came out and been the, which I thought that storyline was gonna go somewhere too. I did like that one a little bit too. Yeah,
well, we all did, but I
I
don't
did
want to.
like that one a little bit
But
too.
I don't want to go into too much into going out in that direction because then we're gonna think about the anonymous GM for Raw. So, well, we be going down a rabbit hole if we do that.
Oh Lord. Okay, so Z saying that Vince Russo, they are. Oh, okay. He said they are they from Seth Rollins' school. So I'm guessing that the Masked Men are from Seth Rollins' school.
Mm.
I did see somebody did say that.
I
So I
mean,
didn't know for
I'm not
sure because
saying
I
they
didn't know that they
can't.
got some extra
Well,
people too.
it's smart because they can use them. So that part is smart because they need bodies to
Yeah, yeah,
actually,
yeah, 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 yeah,
do
yeah,
it.
yeah.
But I guess as far
Hmm.
as the reveal, it will be someone. It will be two of them will be revealed to be, someone that we know. It'll be some kind of superstar or return or someone or someone being called up. But I think yeah, it's smart to have people, uh, we need the bodies. Because remember when we had
Hmm.
the rosebuds,
Hmm. Yeah,
we had
yeah,
Adam
yeah,
Rose and we found out there were some people in there that,
yeah,
yeah, same thing. Um,
yeah,
there's been
yeah,
other times
yeah.
where we've seen them, do weird carry outs and other little things. We find out that it's to be superstars. So that's not uncommon. So
Uh,
that kind of makes sense. Now the problem with this is that if when those stars or future stars make it from Steph's school and we go back years from now, they be like, oh yeah, hey, I was a chunky one and wearing a hoodie because they're all covered up. So it'd be kind of hard to like be
mhm.
like, oh, look, from then to now. But I guess it'll be a good story on a podcast years from now or podcasting around or whatever is a new thing in 2020
Yeah.
2030. They'll say, hey, back in 2026, I was one of the masked men for Seth Rollins.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
Cause hey, look at Trick Williams. He was with what's his name, Apollo Cruz, and we didn't, a lot of people didn't know that
Mhm.
when he used to come out on
Mhm.
SmackDown with a little Nigerian gimmick. So
Mhm. Mhm.
yeah,
Did not know. Yeah,
that could
didn't
be
know.
true. Um,
Didn't know.
I guess
Mhm.
my last question before we move on to the next topic is: did you like the whole segment from when they did the scramble thing and the stuff that your who you love so much, Adam Pearce, what he said about Vision is gonna
Well,
probably
did I like it?
go ahead.
No. Did I like it?
Mm,
No, because it was presented to be, kind of bad. Just because up until this point, well, really up until Logan Paul revealed one of them to be one of Seth's students. The masked man was presented to be a powerful force, a serious thing. And we went because remember we first, we got Austin Theory first. Um,
mm,
we got all this stuff in between. So it was really presented to be the person and even when we were fantasy booking, this was part of, um, Steph's group. And that's even before it was revealed to be, Austin Theory. We had this idea that it was going to be, um, stars of note and the idea was presented to be a badass in a mask, and Seth was building this absolute power team.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had the whole thing where, Logan Paul had revealed, it just to be a random guy from Seth's school. And then we kind of was like, oh, well, it's a purple herring because we got reports that, hey, it'll just keep being, mask of, the people who we don't know yet. And then eventually it'll be revealed to be Seth Rollins to be one of them, which we got. We got that, of course, elimination chamber. And up until then, it was represented to be a powerful, a serious gimmick. But right now, with what happened on Monday, it feels more comical now because of how it was portrayed. But I don't think that was the intention. I think the intention was to come off as Seth like this has this very strong group. He has all these men and he's untouchable. Like you can't touch him. And I think another example of that, Kingdom Hearts. And that first boss who you beat, because when you play a game, and most of the time you have to, get to the boss and you fight the boss and you move on to the next level. And that first scene or level when you're on the beach, you have all these little heartless coming around, these little creatures. And for those who don't know, it looked like the masked man because the little small little things that's all black. All you can see is like two glowy eyes. And you face this absolute massive version of Wonder Heartless where he's like super big. Graphics are absolutely crazy for, a PS2, you know. And you have to beat him. But then as you're hitting him with your keyblade, because that's like your weapon, well, it is your weapon, you start getting more and more of the little heartless running around. So you have to stop what you're doing, hit them, and then go back to hitting the boss because it's hard for you to beat the boss because all these little heartless little things running around. So that's kind of the idea that Seth is, right? Seth is that mob boss in the middle, and you gotta have to beat around all the little men around him to get to him. That's the idea. So whoever wrote this is playing Kingdom Hearts, probably on PS2. Um, because it just that's what it looks like to me. So with that being said, I kind of like the idea. It comes off as strong. It's just the presentation of it didn't come off that way. Um, Now Miami, it seemed like you said you didn't like it, but I beg to differ because I remember on the phone you said you had said to me, "Oh my God, they are going to beat down Adam Pearce. It's like 20 masked men in the ring." You seem like you're really excited for that first few moments now. You thought they were going to
Well,
beat down Adam Pearce
I'm
and
not
Ryan
gonna
Moore,
lie. The
probably.
first I I
Mm.
thought I thought so because I was like, oh, I was like, because the way they did it at first, I was like, okay, maybe Adam Pearce is working with Seth. But at first, I was like, oh, maybe not, because they were surrounding the ring. I said, oh man,
So
they're finna beat up
that's an
Pierce.
interesting
Okay,
thought.
this
Mm.
is a, this. No, no. I was like, oh man, this is a different direction. Okay, cool. Where we're gonna go with this? And then they, like I say, they all got in the ring. They started doing this little. I call it like a little shuffle because that's what it looked like to me. That was like shuffle, like, um, you know, it was weird. It was like swimming around, swarming around like bees or something, like you said, roaches if you live in the hood. And I was like, and that's the part that kind of got me down because I was like, oh, what is this? It brought me back to that pandemic era where I was like, this is real pandemic era booking. And now, like you said earlier,
Mm.
it feels like to me the masked man is not. I don't think they take it serious no more, or they're just trying to, fill in time for just not just the show, but for Seth and just to keep the story to say, okay, we're doing this mass thing, where they're going to go with it, and give
Hmm.
content creators something to talk about and see what their thoughts about it. I'm thinking that's the way they're going to go. I didn't like it
Now,
towards the end because of that.
now
Now at first I
remember,
was like, oh man,
remember.
this might be going somewhere.
But remember, at the end, he put the mask back on and he kind of gets lost and disappears into the swarm of
Yeah,
all these
yeah.
men. Now
Hmm.
remember,
Yeah,
now it
yeah, yeah,
may
yeah.
sound dorky and kind of cranky on the way they presented yesterday. Not yesterday, Monday. But hey, where else have we seen this done? We've seen a lot of superstars have instances where puff of smoke and they go. A good example of that is the Undertaker. We all know lights go on. He appears, lights go off. If the lights
Hmm.
go off, he
Hmm.
all goes dark, turns on, he
He's
appears.
gone.
Then the Exorcist,
Yeah,
same thing.
yeah.
He's gone. We have seen that. Hey, we have seen also with a comedy gimmick, which is with Danhausen. As we know, when he debuted in WWE for Chamber, when he left, what happened? We saw a poof of,
Hmm.
you know, pyro. It went all black and he was gone running behind stage. So that is something that it has been done before, and it can be used to make a very strong character. The Undertaker, I think it worked very well for him because you know it just was mysterious, how he would just come into the ring so fast, all dark, boom, and next thing you know he's in the ring, and then we found out that he's hiding under the ring the whole time. um, but it comes off as very strong and kind of like um methodical, right? That's the idea. It's just for some reason the way it was played out on Monday it didn't come off that way. But I think that's the idea. It's the idea of this Seth Rollins run right now is for him to be this ultimate power force that is untouchable, where physically no one can touch him. Because if you want to go one on one with Seth Rollins, well, you got to go through 40 people to be able to go ahead and do that. So I don't know. But that being said, I mean, I didn't like how it was presented, but I like the idea of where it can go, and I'll just leave that here. Okay, I think we lost Miami. Still there? Nope. So yeah, so Miami is gone. I guess he got kicked out by StreamYard. And hopefully he heard what I had to say about the masked men. Other parts of this segment, of course, we got the Usos come out, them doing the Yeet beating down division. Knight comes out there as well. I don't want to go on to the next topic because I know Miami's gonna want to kind of drive that car.
I
Um,
was I had to go and get the link for the
hmm?
Can you hear me, fine boss?
Yeah, I'm here.
No, you saying no? No, I had went to go get the link. Call in real quick. It knocks you out once
Oh,
you link leave the browser, so it pushed me
oh
out.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But no,
I thought for some reason
I
that there
heard
was an app for
I
you.
heard a little bit of it.
Oh,
Well, it
well, no.
is, but for me to go and pull up everyone's comment and stuff, I have to go to the browser for
Uh-huh.
that. To pull up people's comments like Slam, Z's, or Greg, or those are the three that commented so far. But people like that, I have to do that through the browser. But no, I
Mm-hmm.
do agree with you. I know we spent some time on it, but we'll see where they go with
Mm-hmm.
um Masked Man so far. I don't know where they're gonna go with it. You asked me. Like I said, I just didn't like the end. I don't like how they went to the ending of it, but we'll have to see where they're gonna go with it. But following that, this and I think this is kind of will segue us to the next topic of where we're gonna go. We did get the Usos chasing the Vision off, and then they went backstage and asked Jimmy and Jay what are their thoughts about the Vision. Jay Uso did his classic crash out and was like,
Oh,
"Hey, he
you
didn't care
mean
about Seth Rollins. He didn't care about the
you mean Jackie
Vision."
Robinson, the
Yeah,
interviewer?
yeah. Jackie Robinson.
Okay.
The interview.
Hold
Yeah,
on. I'm gonna make it
yeah,
very
she.
clear. Not Jackie Robinson, the baseball player. Now that's a different Jackie
Oh,
Robinson. We're
I
talking. We're talking
I
about
said
the Jackie
Jackie,
Robinson of WWE
not
now,
Jackie
not that Jack.
Robinson. I said Jackie. I said Jackie. Did I?
Is that last name
I might have
Robinson? Is
said
it
Jackie.
not Robinson?
No,
I thought it
I
was
don't
Jackie
know. I don't think
Robinson.
it's
It
Robinson.
ain't? Oh, let me
I
check.
thought it was
Be
Jack. Well,
right back.
I said Jackie. You might. You right. You probably right. I just said Jackie. Maybe I did say Robinson. My bad. But no. She did come back and did the interview with her, which I did like the little touch there of when Jimmy and Jay both, kind of giving their thoughts about the vision and all that stuff, and then she stopped them again and asked Jay, you're friends with Punk. How do you feel about your reaction of what he said to Roman Reigns? And that was a great touch
Wait,
to
wait, wait,
add
wait, wait. My
more to the
apologies
story.
here. My apologies. I'm close. It's Jackie Redmond, not
Redman,
Robinson.
okay.
Redmond,
Okay, I
Redmond.
was close. I was a little close. I knew it was something with R, so okay, that's my mistake. Jackie Ribbon. So I knew it was something. I was a little close, but I was like, ain't it Jackie something? I was like, maybe I'm wrong, but
Yeah,
yeah, I look close. But that,
Jackie Redmond now. Shouts out to Jackie
yeah,
Robinson though. Love him. But but yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah,
I like the backstage segment, but between the Usos and Jackie. I mean, I thought it was great because, like you said, we got to fire up Usos. She asked them how they felt about about the vision. Jay said he's not really worried about them. He don't care. He don't care about Logan Paul or about Austin Theory. But then we got this weird thing. I heard a lot of people kind of really downplay it because they said, "Hey, how do we go from main event well, not even like that. The yeeting of the Usos to serious Usos at the ending segment. It was like a 180 switch. But I looked at it as like it was there to keep the audience engaged because you remember Jackie had asked Jay, what about the comments of CM Punk last week, and he said I got nothing to say in regards to that. But then you have that teaser where you have Jimmy can say, hey, wait a minute, I think we do have something that, that we need to say. So that was your teaser. People like to go ahead and talk about, hey, it didn't come off as he remember what Punk said that that he was really actually upset about it. No, it was the idea was to tease to keep you in because hell, wait a minute, I think we got something we're gonna say. So that was your clue to know, hey, something is going to happen later on tonight, and this it did because we got that segment between the Usos and Punk. We'll talk about that later. So I like that segment.
mm, yeah, I did too. Nice touch. Don't forget, guys, the link to us if you want to do a call in and hear yourself on the radio, DW Radio. It is now on my page, right under the pin page. I didn't retweet nothing else, so you can find that really easy. Do a call, and we'd like to hear your thoughts about what you thought about this Monday Night Raw. But going into, I think, our next big thing, let's get into some Judgment Day talk, Final Balls. Um, Finn Balor has been kicked out the Judgment Day. I think I seen this coming a long, long time
Yeah,
ago. It's been way, way overdue. Final boss, finally, and I hate to say your husband's
finally.
classic line. Finally, we're here. But I think this fathers the story. I think Finn needs it. Finn needs a great run as a singles competitor. He's back now by himself. A lot of people still want to see the demon. Me and you have already made our comments about the last time we seen the demon. He fought my tribal chief, and we all know how that match went. My God, and I still would not let that down. And that was kind of worries me now. Finn has been to be by himself, and if Roman does win this title, oh Lord, they might run that match back. So, but it's finally happening. I want to see where they're gonna go with the story with Finn. I think he will take on Dom first, and then maybe JD. He'll probably go back. He'll probably keep going back and forth. I don't know who he will get the team with him now. AJ Styles is gone. It'll be really interesting. Maybe he'll get somebody from NXT that we don't know about that we are not thinking about. I can't think of no one right off the back. Final balls.
Well,
But hey, oh, go ahead.
well, I kind of want to go through exactly what it was because I did a really good job play-by-play for the Masked Men, but I think play-by-play for this is more important because you know. it started off with Dominic, Liv, and Raquel in the ring. And then we have, which I like the entrance of Finn and JD, not JD Judgment Day means, JD McDonough. And everyone knows that Finn has been the mentor for JD. Um, they're supposed to be very close, so they come out together. So, from first watching it, you assume it was going to be a turn. You're going to have JD and Finn, and then you'll have Raquel, Liv, and Dom, on the other side of everything. They had a really good back and forwards, where Finn was saying, hey, you have to learn how to do it by yourself. And, and he basically kind of threw Ray's name in there and said, maybe you are, I don't remember the quote, but basically like a punk kid, some type of, something along those lines, give or take. And then we got, the eventual turn and beat down. I liked that you had Dom put the hammer into the boot and do the 619 to get that at the impact. We of course got even JD McDonough also being down Finn. And what's really interesting that you even had the ladies, Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan also stomping on him, being part of the beatdowns. I thought was in really, really good taste. The only thing I had was I thought when we had this turn that it was going to be a breakup of all the members of Judgment Day kind of back to back. And maybe we are going there, but I'm like, man, if Judgment Day is still around, it just doesn't have Finn on. This is not Finn in there anymore. Um, and it kind of leaves a question because like, okay, what can we do with Finn? Of course, we're gonna have him have a feud with Dominic and him have a feud with JD, but then what after that? Is he probably gonna be back into the main card picture? I will hope so because we got those really great matches with him and Punk. But I don't think that they felt in a place where you could have JD be with just Finn. I think because I don't think he's gotten that oomph to him yet. I think they want him to kind of stay with Dom for a little bit, do some more clubhouse stuff, and then eventually, we'll see that probably 4 years from now. But eventually, we'll see that turn too. Um, but my caveat is like one, it took so long, 4 years. And when I thought they should have done it back when we had the match between him and Punk, that first match. It was a good match. He lost, and we had that whole backstage between Punk and him, where Punk said, "Hey, you can't be hanging around those guys from Judgment Day in the clubhouse if you want to be back in a title picture. Hey, enter into the Rumble. Which we found out later that it was full. But I thought around that time would be where we would see the turn made the most sense. Instead, we got that no turn. We got um, him and Balor again at Chamber. Of course, CM Punk won, no turn, and then here we are weeks later, and now we're finally getting it. So I think the placement of it is not good. Um, but but if they want to have Finn and if they want to have Dominic um, be have a match at WrestleMania, here it is because as we know last week Dom lost to Penta, so he doesn't have the title anymore, IC title anymore. So now at least we have a way that if they want to have Dom still be on the card for WrestleMania, it'll be a nice build up if they do it correct between him and Finn Balor. The only thing though is that if they would have had the title kind of hanging in balance and it was still on Dominic, it would have been a nice element because we would have got Finn Balor be IC champion and things like that. But at least we'll still have a great rivalry between those two, and maybe it'll come to a clash at WrestleMania. Okay, Miami, you still there?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me, my boss?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you.
I had put myself on mute. My bad. I was so good talk. I was on mute. But no, I was saying I'm very shocked that they took it off of Dumb, even though they were going to still do this match. I think that was one of my main like standout shock moments where I was like, oh man, I didn't see that coming. Um, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. I think the last title that Finn has to win is the IC title. I could be wrong. He might be already a Grand Slam champion. I don't know, but I know a lot of people wanted him to win the IC championship from Don. And I did too. I thought that's the direction they was going to go. Yeah, we know that Judgment Day has been together for a long time. I think they have one of the longest groups to be together since the Bloodline. And now you really don't have the original guy people. I think the people who are in there. I think they posted this on WWE. The last original member is Dominic, which is crazy. To say that Dominic is the one that got put in there by Rhea Ripley. So the person that's the original member was really put forced in there by Rhea because they was doing this whole thing with Rhea and Dominic was coming across. We thought at the time it was going to come across like a Eddie and China type of story, but it seems like they want to do that with them and Liv Morgan. But yeah, it's about time. Like I said, only thing I think my concern is Final Boss. I want Finn Balor to have a good run, singles competitive run. I think that's the thing. My biggest, you know, concern is will he have a great singles run if they do this the right way. Like you said, I do agree. I do agree with you when it says putting this match together. Hopefully, if they write it right, it could be a great match. I think Finn is did great with him and CM Punk, and if it's anything close to that type of match with Punk and Finn, and they do it like with him and Don, I think they'll have light in the bottle. I just wish they would have did it with the title. That's all my thoughts, Final Boss. If you got any last thoughts about that, we'll move on to the women's gauntlet match. If you want to talk about that. Let's talk about that. I think I lost Final Boss. Sorry, for a while. But yeah, I think let me see. I think I got a couple comments here. So free. And like I say, once again, guys, if you want to call in, it's on my page. I will put it here in the comments. If you find it here, it's on the DWA radio page. It's on the Talk It Up page. But it's on the link. If it's not on my page, you guys can go see it on the Talk It Up page. I'm pretty sure maybe someone has retweeted it by now. Maybe find it off. We can go retweet it. But yeah, give us a call in if you want to give us a call in, and we'd like to hear your thoughts here on DW Radio. Last week we had Caleb come in and say, hey, he likes the way SmackDown was wrote, and SmackDown was one of his favorite shows. So it's good to hear a different side of someone's thoughts about the way the storyline was going on SmackDown. So shouts out to you, Caleb, for being one of our first callers on DW Radio. We've been trying to get someone to call in for a while now. And Caleb was that first person. So shouts out to him. You can go back and hear yourself, Caleb, on Spotify if you want to hear yourself. You're on there, or you can go back to YouTube on that show and hear Caleb's thoughts about what he felt about last week's episode. Couple more shouts to EVP. Shouts out to the EVP CJP of the EVP show on YouTube. Another DW member that's stopping by. Shouts out to you. Y'all please do subscribe to him too. Like I say, check out him. Um, the EVP show. Check out After the Slam podcast on YouTube. Those guys have some great content, great shows, different type of shows. You got one person that does recaps and predictions, and Slam he does interviews with independent wrestlers and also people on the IWC. So if you want to go check that out, go check those guys out on YouTube and check them out. Like I say, great content for those guys. Shout out to you, Pete. Thanks for stopping by here on the DWE radio, the radio that's not on the radio. I think that's all. I don't see. I see Greg was saying he was telling us Jackie Redman. I think I already read Z's coming, but I'll read it again. He was talking about Seth Rollins, the guys that the masked man to be the people who was in the masked man be Seth Rollins' school. Also, shouts out to you, Z, for giving us that information. I thought so too. I don't think I was just make sure I wasn't wrong. Z, I was make sure because I thought that somebody was saying that was them, but I did not know that was confirmed. So I just wanted to put it out there. But let's move on to. Oh, hold up! I think I got one more coming. I thought I seen. Let's see. Oh, you say I said like 3 weeks ago on schools, all the masked men beside Waller that one time come from from wrestling in Indiana that owned by Seth. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I was just wondering, was they still using the guys? 'Cause, sometimes you know how they switch it up. Maybe get people from local wrestling schools. Sometimes they might switch it up, but that's pretty cool that they're using Seth Rollins. Um, People at school, though. But if you guys missed it, Monday was a women's gauntlet. They did kick off the gauntlet this week for AJ Lee's open challenge that she did. We did talk about that last week on DWE Radio. So if you guys want to go check that out, go check it out from last week. Our thoughts about the open challenge. But this week we finally got the answer of who would she be facing. And actually, this is for some reason, guys. I thought this was going to happen for Mania. I don't know why, but I was like, man, this is going to happen for Mania. But I do like that AJ Lee is fighting for her title just a little bit before Mania. They might do this. Might be the only match that happens on Monday because there's supposed to be this Monday coming up between her and Bayley. But I got some feeling because if anyone's seen the back and forth between Bailey and Becky Lynch, the Twitter war, which that's mostly what the wrestlers do these days. Between that, I got a feeling that maybe Becky would interfere in this match, and it could turn into a triple threat match for Mania. That's just one of my thoughts. Now, I did know that, and I don't know if anyone knows the history that these two have actually wrestled before. Back when AJ Lee was the Divas Championship. If anyone doesn't know about that title, that's the title that had the butterfly on it. That was actually the women's title back in the day. She went down to NXT and actually had a match between Bailey. So these two have actually locked up before. But I would like to see it now because now Bailey's more like a vet. We all know AJ Lee's a vet. I did like the gauntlet structure. I do like the gauntlet structure. I was surprised they did start it off um with Io Sky and I was about to say Bakir. Live Bakir, yeah, Live Bakir. I did like that touch because I was like, oh man, because I thought somewhere along the match they was going to do. I thought they was going to do EO and first Asuka first, and maybe EO was going to. I thought EO was going to either be at the end or in the middle. I thought she was going to be one of the people to come out. I thought they was either going to start this off with either Raquel and Asuka and maybe do it like that and then work their way through um, giving Raquel, because we seen how dominant Raquel was in the chamber. I thought they was going to maybe do something similar to that. And a reason why, because I remember back in the day when they used to book a sort of these gauntlet matches, they used to build the characters up where we was like, oh man, it made Kobe Mania happen. I don't know if anybody remembers the match between where the New Day was did the tag team gauntlet back in the day with the Usos. Oh my God, one of the classic moments where the Usos came out because we know Usos and New Day, they should always have those classic matches between each other. Um, um, when it came out and the New Day did the forfeit to let the New Day continue to go on to take on take on the people who was the tag team champions at that time. But I that's what I was thinking about when this gauntlet match was happening. Um, I was surprised Bailey won. I thought actually I thought someone else was going to win. I thought it was either going to be Io or Raquel. I'm not going to lie. I'm surprised they went Bailey here, but I'm glad they went Bailey because Bailey doesn't get a lot of. I don't think Bailey gets the respect that people give her. I don't think people give her flowers like they should. But this was one of the times I felt like she will get her flowers. Now, like I say, it was weird that Becky Lynch did say something about Becky. I mean, not Becky, but Becky Lynch said something about Bailey, and I was like, huh. I wonder if they're going to go an angle where Becky Lynch is going to interfere and it's going to end in a disqualification. And maybe at that time, they'll say, hey, well, either they'll do it this upcoming Monday or the next following Monday where they say, well, you three will have a triple threat match at WrestleMania. If they do this, I would not be surprised, especially Punk losing. They might keep the title on AJ Lee, just to keep it on her because AJ did come out and say it's a lot of women she would like to face. I wouldn't mind seeing that for her because now you kind of give her some different opponents to. I wouldn't say the title's not over yet, but it's not just quite there for me yet. The women's IC title. And if they do go this direction where she's taking on these different women and have some banger matches, I think that would kind of bring a little more prestige to this IC title. I think when it was around Becky, it did that for me. It's just Becky held it for so long, and she didn't have too many matches. We know she did the match with her and Maxine Dupree. They kept it on Maxine Dupree and turned her back and went back to Becky. Then Becky dropped it to AJ Lee. So I think AJ Lee doesn't drop it that quick. I think she's going to face a quite few people as we go along. I have her still winning at Mania unless I start seeing something quite different. Now, if they add some more women here, I would maybe think different. But right now, I'm thinking they might go. For some reason, I feel like they're going to go triple threat here, and they're going to add Becky with the whole Becky Lynch and Bailey Twitter beef that happened earlier, and that's how we get to that at Mania. That's just my thoughts about it. But shouts out to Bailey. We get to see her and AJ Lee once again. This time on the main roster. That's just my thoughts about the gauntlet match. Did you have any thoughts about the gauntlet match? Final boss, baby.
Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I am back.
I was running my mouth until
And
you got
better.
I ain't gonna lie. I forgot that question I asked you before you went off. So hey, ask the
Oh,
crowd.
geez.
They I don't even remember. Y'all get old with me now. Now I'm old now. Leave me alone now. Be quiet in here. Don't say nothing.
um. Well, they all being quiet in here. They're not even saying nothing. Y'all gotta do a real good job. Y'all be quiet in here. Ain't none of y'all say nothing.
No, well, even people been saying something in the comments. You gotta have saying something in the comments.
Who's not being quiet in here and not saying nothing?
Oh no. Now you ain't gonna have nobody saying nothing.
But yeah, as far as the ballot match, wasn't into it. It kind of became a TV watching me style thing for me. I was looking at nails. Um, and I mean, I like the idea because it is International Women's Month, so them having a gauntlet is it is a good way to celebrate that. And then seeing two legends, right? Because you have um, Bailey, was of course part of Four Horsewoman, women,
Mm-hmm.
and then we have AJ Lee, who you know it was really was well, I would say really her and the Bella were part of that the real end of the Divas era, right
Mm-hmm.
around the time of the women's revolution. So it's kind of nice to see it. It's a playback. It's definitely a no, but unfortunately, it is definitely still a feud because the idea is to have her and Becky at WrestleMania. So, um, but the idea is nice, and I look at it as if we are seeing all the greatest hits at this point, and then do a remix of greatest hits at this point, because we are going to see AJ Lee hopefully face some opponents that we've always kind of wanted her to kind of get into the ring with, whether it be ones that went around when she was there or ones that kind of just kind of pass by, and pass. Um, God, I mean, yeah, mute yourself because it's too much going on back there. But yeah, so the idea of it is good. We get to have her do her greatest hits. But it's just a real long way to get to her birthday because we know at the end, it's gonna be her birthday. And also, as you know, Io Sky is of course, when and Io Sky right out of tag team title loss, and Rhea is on SmackDown. Io is still on Raw. Maybe it's a good time for her not to win because maybe the idea is for her to go with something bigger, for her to go for for the women's title. Um, maybe that's the idea here. I like the beat down of Liv by Stephanie Valkyrie. I like that whole um, interaction there. Them fighting on the ring, interest on the Instagram of the ring. I like that idea. And of course and later on in the episode we got the recorded promo with Stephanie Valkyrie getting in Spanish and us having the English subtitles, which I didn't really don't read all of them like that, but yeah, I thought it was great. All right, Miami, are you there?
Free. Break the phone. But did you hear what I said?
Nope.
Oh, I was saying that. Um, no, I do like I like the subtitles because a person like me, I don't know Spanish, so it helped me out. It's helping a person like me out. So I do like it. I love when they do it. I love when they do like people like Shinsuke. But I did like her coming out. They are continuing the feud with her and Liv Morgan. It's just not picking up as I thought it was gonna be, Final Boss. It doesn't seem like it has no steam to it. It doesn't seem like it's gonna be a I don't even know if it's gonna be a decent match now. And that's saying a lot for Stephanie Valkyrie when she's supposed to be one of your top stars. I thought WWE would believe in her a little bit more, but the story for me is not going anywhere right now. But we still have a lot of more time left. I did like she came out and you know, did try to stop Liv Morgan for interfering in the match. So I do like that touch. But yeah, we have to see
Yeah,
where the.
but I really liked when, because we were talking about how we got the pre-recorded promo of Stephanie Bakir
Hmm.
in Spanish with the English subtitles. But I liked it more so when we had these face-to-face interactions, or even the cinematic, recorded interactions where we got Dom translating for Liz. I kind of like that, but I guess we're done with that. I guess they dropped it. So
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna have those. I don't think we're gonna have any more face-to-face promos between those two. I think we're gonna see that's what we saw on Monday. We may have some physical stuff going on in between Mania, and then we'll just have this recorded, you know, um, promos.
Well,
And
I
but
think my question to you is, what if they keep doing it? Do you feel like they will overplay that if they kept doing the face to face, or would it will it help the feud? Because I think if they kept doing it, it would have played out so quick that we were like, oh man, they're doing it too much. You know what I'm saying? So do you think
and
that?
it's a good question. It's something that I talked about episodes ago on DW Radio,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
around the time when Stephanie Foxfield first became champion. That glass ceiling, where, hey, yeah, you could be a great in-ring competitor, which Stephanie Foxfield is. But the problem with professional wrestling, and especially WWE, where it's very promo heavy, you cannot build feuds just on matches alone. Now, there's other companies that do it. Shouts out to them. AEW is one of
Mm-hmm.
those.
Mm-hmm.
But in WWE, at least, in WWE land, a lot of their feuds are built up with promos. Because you really only have three ways to build a feud: storytelling, through promos, matches,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
then you may have certain events are beat down. And certain events are beat down will be like we saw Stephanie Fox here and Liv Morgan going at it on the entrance ramp, or you may have something crazy like like the time where Randy Orton beat up John Cena's dad. But those are rarities. But really, it's usually matches and promo work. And when you have someone like Stephanie, where there is a language barrier, it may, as bad as she is in the ring, as bad as her entrance is, really was a big ass struggle right here. Um, yeah, it makes it hard to have her have long lasting feuds. It just really does. Um, And so that's that glass ceiling. There's only so much you can do, with a title reign with someone that has a language barrier unless they have a mouthpiece. Unless you
Mm-hmm.
have that. If you don't have
Mm-hmm.
that, there's only so much you can do. Now, granted, if you are going to have a short title reign, then you can really get away with this. But the way WWE is, their feuds are built on a combination of matches and promos. And look at us now. Let's look to the men. Just for a second, like, hey, we are in love and infatuated with all of the promo work that Punk has been going on between Punk and Roman, now Punk and the Usos. Could you? I mean, this is the best part of Raw right now. Is just us seeing that, and we're not gonna see a match. We may see the physical hits, which we did see, on Monday, but we're not gonna see any matches between, Punk and Roman. Why Monday until the big event, in this case WrestleMania. So until then, it's all about promos.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
imagine, if the champion, had a language barrier and he was facing Roman, he wouldn't have any. Like, there would be no little bit. It would be non-existent. And I know that's a touchy subject for most because wrestling is also about physical ability and having aura and different things like that in the ring, which it is. But the way WWE is set up, the way the fans have known WWE is this book. to have just really promos in between matches. That's how you build the matches. It's just in promos. So, and that unfortunately is going to become glass ceiling. Now, again, there is a way around that, which is what they're doing right now, which is having the subtitles. And we've seen it done before. We've seen it very famously, which I think people have forgotten with Shinsuke Nakamura, who was on SmackDown. We started seeing a few like
Mm-hmm.
that. The next idea would be, of course, hugging them out. We got that with Gilio. We got that with the late great Umaga. We got that with Rusev. Rusev had a different, well, he didn't need it, but he had a different character. We got that with Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar not did a promo because I not did a promo. Um,
Mm-hmm.
of course, we got that also with Selena Vega and Andrade in NXT. So there is ways around it, but it's figuring out, that right balance. I mean, remember, there's a glass ceiling. We don't do that. What was that glass ceiling that we
Mm-hmm.
had for someone like the great Khali? That was a glass ceiling for him, right? Because of the language area. Um, so this is the thing. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, hey. So right now, it looks like they're doing the right steps to, kind of work, around that. And as far as it will get old, I mean, yes and no. I mean, we're very close to WrestleMania at this point. I mean, hell, it's next month, so it's not like we got months and months and months and months and months for us to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's only a few weeks. So I think if it's done right, I think you have to add some more cinematic value to it. I think the other thing you kind of do, you can kind of do maybe an angle where, she gets down live, and the next thing, I, I don't know, someone tells Liv that, hey, Stephanie has a message for you, and then she runs to the bag and then watches it on the screen. It could be different things, they can do. Or we could, of course, have a nice cinematic match. Cinematic promo similar to what we got in what we got with Cody and Roman in Atlanta, where they are face to face. It is recorded, but you have Stephanie Valcure, cut the promo in Spanish, and we're just having subtitles over it. And we don't have to worry about, Lily speaking English, but we'll take it as being translated later. We won't see all that, but that's another idea. So there's different things you can do. That's all I have to
Yeah.
say in regards to that. I don't know if you feel that way or if you got any other ideas about how you would do
No.
it or how
I just wish cause I don't know what else they could do to get people invested. I think people already got their bets in the have Liv Morgan win this match. Not saying that Stephanie Valkyrie is not doing the best she can do to keep the feud going. And I mean, yeah, the Punk and Roman stuff is big, um, but we still like the day we brought up the Jey Uso and Jimmy stuff, and they don't even got a match, but we're still interested in it. They're saying, oh, will this lead to some of the Roman Reigns stuff too? So I'm thinking that they need to do something with this to make us be more interested in the match to give us a slight feeling that okay, maybe Stephanie Valkyrie can have a chance, and we won't be just leaning so much on
well,
Liv, even though if Liv
that's what
wins.
they did on Monday. That's why they had her come down, and then Liv working down on the interest.
Well,
That's
that's something they that's something they always do. I'm not saying I don't like it. It's just I feel like we could do a little bit more with it. Maybe hey, if Liv has a match between here this upcoming Monday to Mania, maybe Stephanie Valkyrie comes out and attack her just to show us that energy of okay, she
Oh,
can't wait to
okay.
Mania to get to her. You know what I'm saying? Something
Which they
sort of
probably
like
will
that.
do. They probably
Yeah,
will
yeah,
do that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They'll probably do something like that. You know, they love doing that type of angle. That's if that's the direction they would go. But yeah, we'll have to see final boss. We'll see this Monday where this feud keeps going. Like I said, I don't mind the subtitles. I do like the subtitles. I definitely love it when they do it with their Japanese wrestlers because I love anime. So it's always great for me. And that's just my thoughts. But let's we was talking about the IC title earlier today, but we was talking about Finn and Dom with it. But Penta did come out to the crowd today. You was speaking of language bearers, but he thanked the fans. I thought you knew that he is the second luchador with a mask to win this title. The first one
I
was Rey
know.
Mysterio. Yeah, first one was Rey Mysterio. He's the second one to ever win this IC title. Um, um, with a mask on. So, I did not know that until someone posted that on there. It was so long ago I can't remember who posted it, but I did see that as a fun fact. So shouts out to him. I like Penta. Me and you know about Penta because of his independent scenes, him from AEW, him with
You know.
Ray Phoenix and the Lucha Brothers. I did like the match between him and he did do it with one of the American Grandes. It was actually the not Chad Gable one. It was Kaiser
The other
and
one. Yeah,
yeah, it was
the other
him and
one.
Kaiser. Yeah, it was him and Kaiser, and it was a great match
Well,
for those.
remember how we got there because we got a backstage segment where
Mm-hmm.
the original Americana, which is Chad Gable, is walking backstage, and oh, here comes Danhausen, and got we got the original El Grande basically telling uh, uh, um, telling Danhausen, hey, not
Don't
interested,
touch
please
the
go
mask.
away.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You said you were with a mask. You said no. Yes, you said, go away. I got something I gotta do. We got Danhausen, kind of there, joking because you have, well, he said to speak Spanish, but you really have Jack Gable just speaking like really bad Spanish, pronouncing words,
Mm-hmm.
incorrectly on purpose as part of his gimmick. Um, and he said, well, since you don't want to work with Danhausen, you are cursed. And,
Yeah.
that was it. Now, my problem with the American, with the Grande Americano is that we all know who it is, right? We all know it's Chad Gable is one of them. The other one is Pete Dunne, and then the last one is Kaiser. But
Mm-hmm.
when you have someone like Chad Gable, the original, Americano, even though we know it's him, when he speaks, it's like, oh man, that definitely is. Like, even though you know it's him, when he
You know his
speaks,
voice.
it just
Yeah, you know his
yeah, it just
voice.
really diminishes everything. And it's just like why do you even have character? Like he's just I feel like he's just never talk because none of us ever talk ever because it's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like manages, especially Chad Gable now. With Pete Dunne, it could be a little bit more of a hidden thing because we haven't heard from Pete Dunne in like a long, long time. Same thing
Mm-hmm.
with Ludwig Kaiser. Right, the last time we heard from him, we had a backstage saying how he hasn't been on TV in a long time. So, and then before that, of course, we had the Imperium, but we haven't really heard his voice in a long, long time. But with someone like Chad Gable, heard recently, who was the original, Americana. Remember the whole
Mm-hmm.
idea of the story was he was trying to find the best luchador. He was going to learn all this, how to be a good luchador, and then they kind of they did. They dropped the idea and went to we're going to have a comedy act of all the luchadors, hitting the all the not luchador. I don't know what the end goal of it is. I think it's never going to be a comedy act. Um, shit, man. I guess the end goal would be they originally will take off each other's mask and they'll expose each other, and then at the end of it, eventually, like that's kind
Yeah.
of the plot.
Yeah.
But for now, that's nowhere in sight, at least for now. But man, yeah, I don't like the idea of having to talk because it really kind of ruins the. Even though we know there's Chad
Yeah.
Gable in
Yeah. The
there,
mistake
they
of it.
just had,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
like he should
Yeah.
have talked. So I don't know who the hell decided to have a backstage interaction to have him talk with Dan House.
Mm,
I don't
well,
know. Bad idea.
well,
Bad.
we know that they listening to our radio station because what did I say about the whole
Radio.
curse thing? Because I was like, you was like, well,
Bad thing would happen.
yeah, you wanted the curse thing to be, well, a person lose a match, and I was like, well, one of it's
Tim
just a
and
string of
Dom.
bad luck, and
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
was
So
one
they're
of
not
the,
going with the whole the Tim and Dom
yeah,
idea. They just going around doing it to
yeah,
everyone.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know if that's still going on, but
But
I still do
they
like the
they
idea
dropped
that he's
that.
still
They
cursing people.
dropped that.
He's cursing
It's
people.
dropped. It's dropped.
Yeah,
To think
yeah,
about it,
yeah,
like to turn on fence. So that idea is dropped.
yeah.
It was
I don't even think
it was
they.
it was just a weird way to have Dominic still look strong, but by having Penta win. That's all it was.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. Just to say, oh well,
so with that
you
being
curse, you see
said,
anything said.
with that being
Mm-hmm.
said, anytime you have someone who they want to have them still book that strong, but need them to go ahead and lose, they're gonna have Penta go. I mean, they're gonna have Dan Howard go out there and curse. So you know that. So, and we're gonna get to this a little bit later. But so, you know, it is speculated that the idea is to have Brock Lesnar and Oba Femi have a match for WrestleMania. And I know you had some questions about, well, Brock has said that on his retirement that he doesn't want to lose like any matches like at all on his way out.
Mm-hmm.
They're like,
Mm-hmm.
well, it's gonna undermine Oba Femi and put over as
Mm-hmm.
being this unstoppable power force. I'm like, no, because he's not facing anybody that's the caliber about Lesnar this year. So it makes sense. They're like, no, that's gonna bury him. He'll say, hey, you can't beat him. When you beat the idea, it's for you to be able to beat Brock Lesnar and then you can open me over. But you know what they'll do, man? That they'll have their house and curse over Femi and then he'll lose Brock Lesnar. You know that.
I can see him doing something like that.
Yeah,
I can see
yeah.
him doing that. I can
But
see him
speaking
doing
of,
it.
but speaking of Dan House, we had him. It was I love. We had him come out um, and address the crowd. And as we have been reading the entire week, that WWE is very, very happy with the merch sale of Dan House T-shirt. It's number one right now. They are very, very impressed. So, of course, the WWE decides that this does not be to let it just kind of be organic. They want to go ahead and milk it and beat it with a stick and have Denhausen come out there and say, hey, buy a T-shirt, and he's gonna give out free shirts. And I don't know if it's by design, but I think it maybe was where he was given like 6 or 7 shirts and he threw it out to the crowd and he had McCole said, well, I think it was McCole. I don't know if it was Corbett McCole. I think McCole. Said,
Yeah, I think
hey,
it was my fault. I think it was my fault.
one guy just got on 7 of those.
Yeah, yeah, he
I
did.
thought that
He
was
threw a whole bone
quirky.
onto one
Yeah,
person.
yeah, yeah. I thought that was quirky and funny. Now, I did read. I don't know if it's supposed to say it, but I saw on my page by Faded Media, where Faded Media is saying, oh, it was something about to him. This was a standing ovation for Danhausen, and I wrote back, like, is it a standing ovation? Which, hey, I like Danhausen. I think a lot of people are becoming Fanhausen. Um, but I think they're setting up because they just want a free T-shirt. I mean, how didn't catch a free T-shirt if they've been sitting down, man? Come on. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. Even in a baseball game, when you get like a fly ball, you got to stand up like to grab it. So the idea is there. These are
Yeah,
T-shirts are
yeah,
all
yeah.
along setting up to get them. But I also
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of it is again. I think lots of people are into Danhausen, even though the putting of him is being presented as just being this comic character, which he is. I think based on what his character is, that it's actually pretty good. Now, is it gonna last? I don't think so. I think eventually we'll get fatigue of him coming out there and doing the curse thing backstage and him passing out teachers all the time. I think we'll get fatigued in that in about a month. Um, I think the example of that was, of course, our truth. our true biggest thing was to come out, to the crowd and do, with the what's up. And for a while, we were super hyped, and we always say the what's up. And then over time, even though we still, loved and also liked, um, or true, we got really tired of him doing it, and he stopped getting those crowd reactions after some time.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, yeah. I didn't mind it. I knew that was the direction. I could see him doing that, going that direction where they do a curse thing. I don't want it to go like that either. Um, just don't do the match. That I think just don't do the match. If Brock Lesnar doesn't want to lose, don't let him do the match because I think it still will get a bad feedback. Final boss, even if they go that direction. I know how the IWC will be. I think it still get a bad reaction. Yeah, final boss.
hold on, I'm here. That you gone because there's a damn Miami trying to burnt down in the middle of the highway, so now we gotta kind of get over.
Okay, okay. I was making sure. But
I
yeah,
know.
um we'll move on to the next segment because we got one more after this. We got actually the main event topic. But we're gonna move to the Kofi Kingston was trying to recruit Javon Evans into the New Day final boss, and I was like, wow. Um,
You're gonna
I
get
know
hit.
I know lately Michael Cole has been comparing Javon to a Kofi Kingston. Even in the backstage segment here, you heard Kofi Kingston say to Javon Evans that a lot of people are saying that you remind
Fuck
you
you, man.
remind me of them. Oh well, dang, well get you too. I'm just explaining what Kofi Kingston said to Javon Evans.
No, cause hey, you got your this truck having just a fucking breakdown on the fucking middle lane, bro.
but
And I can't even get over now. Well,
yeah,
I'm
we'll
around
have to
him,
keep
but
an
I
eye
can't.
on.
But
I do
but go
I
ahead.
I do like the whole thing where they did tease this with Kofi. Kofi, like I said, he did tell Javon that you do remind me of you, but you're going to need backup in this game. You're going to need a group around you.
Yeah.
Just think about it. Don't
And
answer it
remember, we
now,
also
but come back
got.
to me.
Remember, part of our segment was we got Kobe asking Grayson Waller, to talk
Mm-hmm.
about Evans alone. So,
Mm-hmm.
and at this point, I mean, man, I talked about this so much when the booking of Devon Evans, I was like, man, he's like Kofi Kingston. This is what I
Mm-hmm.
see. And I know at first we are like, I'm like, no, this is what it is. And then then we saw the interaction and everything. And I'm just like, yeah, this is kind of where we feel. And he didn't really have a direction. They had him do some stuff with the grandes and whatnot, and uh,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I think right now we're at a good point because, as you know, unfortunately, Woods is out with injury, and we never really
Mm-hmm.
got the heel turn to take off, and a lot of it had to do with Big E. I don't know why they decided to. WWE decided to have Big E play a part in the 20th anniversary, and then not go anywhere, and then even though he wasn't, he's not cleared, and of course we now know he's done, he's tired. At least
Mm-hmm.
have a plan of how to have him be engaged into this without him being physical, but yet still have a way to kind of write him off and with him being a presence. I mean, because apparently he's done. He doesn't even want to do. Um, he doesn't want to do the announcing stuff anymore or post shows anymore. Um, and so well, he felt this place, I should say. He talked about how they took him off certain shows and replaced them, and then he just wanted to do everything with schedule. Um, but yeah, at this point, I mean, it's like, well, what can the New Day do? the last good thing we got from them was when they had the Usos. And we got that really good um, uh, promo from Xavier. We took shots at Rakishi, saying,
Mhm.
your dad, Usos dad was bad BMI. We had that really, really good match. But other than that, we didn't have anything of noteworthy with this heel run. Um, so, well, we did have that one thing where, with the crowd, and I think it was like a family member at one point was involved, or someone. It was so long, I don't even remember all of it. I think that was big. But other than that, I mean, we didn't really get much. And
Mhm.
considering that Javon Evans doesn't have a direction, Woods is out with injury, so we got really, well, what we do have is Grayson Waller and Kofi Kingston. I think it'd be a good direction for him right now, and maybe eventually the whole story will be, um, you know, Xavier Woods comes back. He's not too happy about Javon Evans being there, and then we can see him posting, and we'll have Javon Evans, break apart from them, and it implode. Hopefully, he'll have a great momentum coming out of it. I mean, that will be the idea, because what else they're gonna do with Woods? I mean, yeah, with Woods once he comes back, unless the idea is once he comes back, they'll run them as a team for a while, and then of course have different return, and then we'll take it from there. So for that, I like it. It's a new direction for the new day. The new direction. It is a direction for Javon Evans, kind of thrown into different predicaments and not having a real creative direction. And he's super great.
Mhm.
And I think that um, his his in ring, him being a high flyer, and it's very similar to old school Kofi Kingston back when he was doing the motivation gimmick. I think it's very similar to that as far as his dangerous and things like that. I don't know if you feel the same. I don't know if you're excited about having Javon Evans
No,
being part of the New Day, or no, really. So
no.
what would you like them to do?
I think it's gonna lead to them just him just still feuding with Xavier and them for some time. I don't think he's going to join. I think this. I wouldn't want him to join.
Oh, well,
They,
you mean feuding with Kobe because David won us out.
yeah. I don't want him to join. I don't want Javon to join Kofi. I think that this will continue the feud between him and Kofi Kingston. I think
Oh,
that yeah. I think the reason why I say that is because one, they have already remember. I think we said on one of our DWE radios that Trick Williams and Javon Evans are the only two wrestlers. Check this out, guys. The only two wrestlers to be called up and immediately be in a main event at a PLE for WWE. So they have already set the bar. Javon Evans and Trick Williams. So I don't think that they would. I feel like this kind of, and this might surprise you, being with the New Day kind of
but
lowers
wait a
Javon
minute. What about
Evans.
Over Femi? Because Over Femi was at Rumble.
He, he was at Rumble, but that was it. It seems like we haven't went nowhere since then after that. I'm not gonna lie. It feels
That's what
like
he
we're
meant. Well, it's not good because I'm Femi for it. But
well. I think people look at Rumble as like well, we know that anybody can show up, but for Javon and
yeah,
Trick Williams to be in Chamber, because you got to think about it. We have said, okay, Chamber is a big match. It's not one of the big matches. It seems like it's starting to be, but I think that people are starting to look at it like,
you mean
okay,
the
it's
big?
been
You mean the Elimination Chamber match itself, or the actual
no,
PLE? Oh,
the PLE. It's been one of
match.
those,
Oh,
big,
PLE.
PLEs that, we'll put in like, because I say for me, it's Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series. I think those are my four. I would probably throw Chamber in there, but those are my four. I love Money in the Bank. You
Well,
know how much I love Money in
well,
the Bank.
here's the thing is that yeah, with the Polar Beck era, you have to remember that as of last year, he let us
Mm-hmm.
know going to WrestleMania starts at Chamber.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's telling you Chamber's supposed to be a big PLE. We
Mm-hmm.
knew that
Mm-hmm.
also because we heard that McAfee show that DKO gave the Rock a call because they weren't happy about the Chamber ticket sales. So that already shows you
Mm-hmm.
that DKO looked at Chamber as being a big PLE.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
And like I said, the car when we look back at it, it wasn't maybe one of the cars that stuck out. It had its lows, but the men's chamber it was pretty decent. It wasn't too bad. I did, like I said, I did like to add Javon Evans and Trick Williams, but I feel like this kind of hurts Javon if he goes and be with New
mm,
Day. New
mm,
Day has not been that tag team since really since Big E has left by the most. Let's just be real. They haven't been that great.
it'll be to freshen it up though because we haven't had anyone new during the New
Mm-hmm.
Day besides Grayson Waller
Well,
and what was the name of the other guy that had a
Grayson Waller.
backup?
You
No,
talking about
not
Grayson?
him. No, the big black guy.
Oh,
Got it, tied to some things.
you ain't talking about Apollo Crews, is you?
No, no. I'll have to
Okay, you
look it
got
up.
Apollo
Yeah, no,
over Femi? No.
no. Why would it be overfit?
Shit.
Never mind. We're gonna push forward.
I'm trying to think of you. Yeah, I'm
You
trying to
you
think of what
can
you're talking about.
no. You over there naming
I don't.
people that just got the damn man roster. Man,
Shit.
good night.
I'm
But
trying to
anyway,
think. Hey, I thought you talking about somebody we were missing because hey, I'm bringing up people we
no,
ain't seen in a
no,
while.
no.
Shoot.
Why would it be freaking over 7 years? That called up like 2 months ago. But
Oh
anyway,
shit.
it was a long time ago. But yeah, it was
I don't
actually
forget.
a baller.
Mm,
But the whole point of it would be, yeah, we haven't really had anything fresh come for the New Day, and now that
mm-hmm.
Xavier Woods out, we kind of have this brand new start, this brand new rerun with having a new member. So
Oh,
it
he's
could
gone though,
be.
ain't he? Austin Jones. That's what you talking about, Final Boss?
Is that his name? Was a heavy set guy?
Austin Jones. You got to be talking about Justin then.
He
He's
probably
gone.
wasn't even a member. Well, exactly. So that was besides him and Grayson Waller. That was the only two that we
Oh
had
yeah, 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 yeah,
in
yeah, yeah, yeah.
enforcement.
Yeah. Okay, that's what you're talking about because Ray just said it. I forgot about
Okay,
him.
thanks, right?
Yeah, I forgot
Yeah.
about
Because it
him.
was it was a very short thing because
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
soon
yeah.
after
It was
that he got tied
yeah,
up in legal
yeah,
things. So
yeah, yeah.
they kind of want us to forget that. So shout out WWE for making us really forget that you had by everything we talk about old Timmy. I could
I,
remember names
I,
to save my
I
life.
know. I'm throwing names
Uh,
out there because I couldn't
Yeah,
think of
yeah,
who
yeah,
it was
yeah.
because it's been so
Because
long.
and that's by design. WB made us
Yeah.
forget that. It was a very short, but yeah. Besides having Grayson Waller, we haven't had nobody do anything with the New Day. So now here we
Mm.
are to get something fresh, and maybe New Day can be that tag team. And remember, they were long. They were the longest tag team at one point. I mean,
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
hello. They
Yeah.
have been they have been around for over 10 plus years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we this could be a way to finally give them a new coat of paint,
Yeah.
and I like that because if not, then what are we gonna do with just Kobe Kingston and Grayson Wall?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
We'll have to see. Final balls. Like I said, I don't think this helps. Javon, because I feel like they won't. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think New Day is still like a heel group, but I think they want to keep
yeah,
Javon that baby face because we don't have that many. And I think this, like I say, for me, I feel like this continues the feud between Javon and I would say maybe New Day because it seems like they don't use even Grayson Waller no more. I don't know why. I don't know if he's injured or what's going on. Only time they use him is for the holiday tour, and that was it. I haven't seen them really kind of use them a lot in the ring lately, but we'll have to see. But let's get down to our last topic, which was the topic. I think the best thing that happened on Raw to the end of Raw, where they kind of showed the vignette of the Roman and Punk segment once again
mm-hmm.
between Punk and Roman. They showed the video again. Then once we came off a commercial, Punk came out to some cheers final boss, which I'm not gonna lie. I was surprised, and even when Punk started up, and this was before the Usos came out to interrupt him. Even Punk said he was surprised to come out to some cheers. He said he was quite surprised about the comments that he made. That the crowd was going to boo him, but they was actually cheering him. You could actually hear the crowd chant the CM Punk chants over the microphone. It didn't sound like it was pipe in. I know nobody that doesn't know remember those days of when you used to get the pipe in crowd reactions, but this sounded very real, very from the crowd, and
Oh man, do you remember back when we had the pipe in noise, man? It was so
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. That's why I throw that in there. It was. I don't know why I thought that here because I thought he was going to get booed too, final balls, and immediately my mind went to the pipe in noise they used to make. My mind just I don't know why my mind went there, and I was like, man, this sounds like a He said, "Hello, Nasmi. We did. You wasn't here, sir. Go away." We say your name about 30 times, so you never would have went on break. No, I felt like this was like I felt like it was piped in for some reason, but it wasn't. But like I say, right when before he even get to start his whole promo, the Usos came out. You hear the Usos music? They did not come out in the crowd front of us. There was no yeeting. There was no
There was no need to because remember at the beginning of the show against the Vision, we got that. We got our yeet for today. It's no, but we don't need you to come
yeah,
out
yeah,
and do
yeah, yeah,
yeet
yeah,
again.
yeah.
So
Well, we never seen them not do it because anytime they came out, they always are doing it. I think that's the thing I'm trying to say. But this seemed like they were serious when they was coming down to
correct,
the ring.
correct.
And
Hmm.
Jay is the one that started off, and immediately he grabs the mic, and immediately he's like in this furious like classic. We'll say people call it crash out Jay gimmick. I guess we're giving him because that's what it was, and he's basically telling Punk, you know, Punk, you need to apologize. And
Yeah,
Punk replies to him and says, I see Roman has sent his goons again. They said, no, we're not here because of Roman. We're here because of Sika. And if anyone doesn't know, if
respect.
you are new to wrestling, the promo that Punk did to Roman was saying something disrespectful to his father, saying that he was going to bury him next to his father. That's what this whole promo was about. And
Hold on
Punk was
now, hold
like,
on, because people know that I guess you meant to say you don't know who Sika
well,
was. No, the Wild and yeah,
I
that's what
don't
we're
know
talking
because we
about.
might got I don't know. We might got new fans, so because it's 167
Well,
people.
no, let me
So
just
I'm
that.
just saying for the
Well,
new people.
what did they watch it this week? Okay,
Well,
you
no, no,
know
no. I don't know.
that was last week.
I
That
don't
was
know if they're
last
new.
week. No, that was last week when we got the promo, and they would know that because they were on ahead and they did show
well,
highlights from that change. What you're trying to really say is for those who don't know about the Wild Samoans, which is one of them being, of course, Roman's dad, and the other one being, of course, his uncle, who he lost a couple
mm-hmm,
years back within the same year. And of course,
mm-hmm,
as we know, they were twins and everything. And
mm-hmm,
I can't even watch that moment anymore. Years ago, we got them both come out and give Roman the Ulasal, give him his flowers. So it was, man. Um, and so yeah, it was a very, touchy subject, a very sacred thing. But yeah, exactly right, Maya. Uh, we
yeah,
got Jay telling Punk
yeah,
to
they came
apologize.
out and debated him apologize. Yeah, apologize and asked him, and Punk asked why the Roman said, he thought he sent them, and they was like to do
Yeah,
his heavy lifting, and
yep,
they was like,
yep.
no, we're here because of Alpha, we're here because of I mean not Alpha, but Sika, because he has no voice. And you did
Correct.
point out something on the phone to me that it didn't stick out to me at first where Punk went through this vignette of saying how much he didn't want to feel like he was disrespecting the family, treating and Roman was treating them like garbage and disrespecting them for the amount of years, and that basically that Punk has spent time with the while Samoans.
Yeah,
They
and
gave him a
said
roof
that
over his
they
head,
didn't,
gave him meals
said
and
that they
stuff
didn't
like
give him any
that.
money, but they gave him,
Yeah.
but they gave him gas money and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. And then one of the other things um, that I like about the Usos is that they said here we're here for respect, and here's a piece that I really loved is here goes Pop being CM Pop being the straight edge, rocker guy saying, hey, he's not very he's not well he basically said that, he's not really into religion but he's very spiritual and he
Mm-hmm.
said like, hey, do you think he can hear us? Do you think he can see us?
Mm-hmm.
And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, and that's when we got, of course, everything that you just talked about how, he talked about the history between him and them, about how he,
Mm-hmm.
about how he watched Lance. He basically, watched Davidson Lance.
Mm-hmm.
He also talked about how, and then he got the Chris Jericho reference where he said, he was, under the, well, he didn't use those words, but he basically said that he was under the learning tree of, the Wild
Yeah.
Samoans.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here we go again with a Punk. We know with Punk having a Chris Jericho references last week. We
Second
got,
time. Second
know,
time.
made the list. Now we got the learning tree.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we gotta do that in there this time too, which makes me believe that we're somehow, some way gonna have Chris Jericho involved in this match, bro.
Yes. Yes.
But
Yes.
who
Apparently.
he helps though is my question. I don't know if he's gonna help Roman or he's gonna help Punk out of that. I don't know. But yeah. But I liked it. I didn't think that it was all of what it is. I mean, for me, it was great for Raw, for this Raw, for great for Raw in general of this era. But I didn't think it was nothing that was, oh my God, I want to watch it again. Oh my God, years from now, I'm going to have quotes from it. I don't think that's how I feel about it. I know I'm probably in the majority because I see a lot of people actually love this. I heard a lot of people say, hey, that they gave Raw a great rating because of this.
Yeah.
I heard a
Yeah.
lot of
It
people
got.
say
It actually
Raw
got
was
an A.
fire because
It,
of this.
it
Wow.
actually got
Wait,
an
hold
A.
on now, because ESPN said that they were going to stop giving out the letter grades now.
Beach
Well,
Report
Netflix
is
is
not gonna
doing it.
stop it.
Oh, well,
No,
no.
Beach Report is gonna still do it. So sorry, WWE. They
Oh,
ain't gonna because
oh,
I mean
oh.
it's a sport. So somebody in the sport community, because you with ESPN, y'all signed that deal, so somebody in the sports community gonna grade y'all stuff. You know what I mean? It is what it is. So they gotta stick with it. But go ahead.
But yeah, but a lot of people were high on this on this closing segment of Raw, which it was good, but it wasn't stuff to me that was super noteworthy. Other than I like Punk going through, the history of him and the Wild Samoans. I like, I really like the Usos saying because Jimmy kept making it very clear that it wasn't about Roman. I know a lot of fans are thinking, let's bring up the bloodline again, just because hey TKO, at first, I'm thinking it's because of The Rock. A lot of people are believing it's because, TKO believes, if we get these massive ticket sales for WrestleMania, had the bloodline kind of come back around again. But it was weird because we got the Usos saying, not once, but at least twice, this is not about Roman. It's not about Roman. We came here on our own. This is about respect. Um,
Hmm.
and it really kind of like separated those two because we had Punk saying, he basically has no problem with the Usos. He's friends with the Usos. He just doesn't like
Hmm.
Roman. And like he said, I think you were about to kind of go to this before I cut you off. I'm so sorry, but you were saying, how he talked about the past of, you know, Punk and the Wild Samoans, and he said there was always, that one son of a bitch, and that was Roman Reigns, and that he just never liked him. Um, I kind of like that. I like them bringing up, the history and kind of blurring the lines, between reality and kayfabe. Here we go again, kind of blurring those lines. So I did really like that. I really like the work, by the Usos. I did also like when Roman, I mean, sorry, when Punk said, you know, hey, that shows you how much Roman cares about this business because where is he now? He's not here.
Mm-hmm.
That's him taking shots at Roman, you know, famously not being on every single show and him not having a lot of appearances, especially not matches nowadays, especially after, you know, the lost the title 2 years ago. So we got that. You know, this is, you know, this business, but you know, it's kind of ironic that he says that. And I think that we set up because when Roman does turn, we have the next promo. We'll have Roman kind of address that because as we know, but you know, there's a whole pipe bomb from Punk about, you know, 10 plus years ago. Well, I guess really 12 years ago now. And then Punk didn't do any wrestling for 10 years. And then, you know, we got him do some UFC stuff, you know, had him do some stuff on Fox that was just commentary style stuff. And then, of course, from the AEW, lasted there a good 6 months, and then it went to, you know, shit. So we're definitely going to have Roman probably bring that up in the promo. And one of the other things that Punk has said famously that, you know, he'll do anything, you know, as far as wrestling wise coming back, you know, for a big bag. And he said, of course, that very famous promo where, you know, he's not here to make friends, he's here to make money. So that shows you, you know, that Punk doesn't really care about the business, he's just here to, you know, to make some money. Um, and hey, also remember that, you know, UFC came out and said, hey, you know, he's done. They're done with Punk, you know, doing any type of, you know, UFC M&A stuff. So he really didn't have anything really to, you know, to do of note. Of course, you had Elite doing, you know, her books and things like that, comic books and all her, you know, things like that. But, you know, they weren't really doing much in between. And now, you know, Punk has returned. So we have, I would
Mm-hmm.
assume Roman kind of played that all into the promo. He's talking about me not being off of this business. You know, I have been around for how many years? I was champion, you know, for 4 years. You know, I may not come on every day, but you know, I never left. I'm still here. Where did you go? You know, you were gone for 10 plus years. And when you finally decided, you know, to come back, you know, I'm not here to make friends. You know, I'm here to make money. I do it for, you know, a big bag, you know. And remember, you know, yeah, you know how Punk felt about Vince, you know how Punk felt about a lot of people, but you know how Punk also felt about Triple H, and here you are, you know, coming back around, you know, that's, you know, this is like era, you know. No, now granted, a lot of it has to do with Punk, you know, growing up, you know, and, you know, coming to his senses and, you know, making, you know, bygones be bygones, which is perfectly fine. And I feel like Punk has to be that change. I don't think he's that cancer anymore, like House Rollins that famously talked about him to be um, during his AEW days. So about Punk here, but yeah. So we have all that kind of come into play, and I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see, you know, where we go now with the Usos being part of this story. Now, I don't know if they're going to be a long part of the story. I don't know if they're planning to have other members of the family get involved now because some family, you know, we could have Solo do something. So, you know, who knows? Could have Rocket do something. Who knows? Ideally, one has the Rocket do something. You know, who knows? But I like this is where we are because it's a way to kind of go different directions. The one direction could be, which I'm hoping, that eventually leads to us having, you know, the Rock, but they can play if for whatever reason we can't get that, the Rock says no, or if different things going on with the Rock is delayed, well, we can always pivot it and go back to the Usos because those are more involved now. We can pivot it, if eventually, because we don't know when Chris Jericho sets to be out of contract to be the piece because it was extended. Because we got those little hints, Easter eggs in there planted in. So they can kind of go different ways. Either one, it could be with Punk, Roman and the Usos, or it could be with, Punk and the Bloodline, or it could be with Punk, and the Raw, or it can lead to, you eventually having Usos side with Punk and turn on Roman because you realize everything Punk said was true. because as we know, you know, personally, Roman hadn't talked to Usos in like many years before he came, before they came over to WWE. So we kind of play that into it. So just taking that blurring the line between real life and kayfabe. So there's a lot of direction. It's the same story. There are always different ways in case one fails. In case the Rock can't come, boom, we have the Usos. In case someone gets injured, well, boom, we have other members of the bloodline. Um, so I really like this. I don't know if you feel the same way. I don't know if you have any thoughts about where we're going with this, and also like how do you feel about this segment? What was your favorite part of the in this segment? Who do you think had the best? Had the upper
I,
hand? Maybe it
I,
was
I,
Punk or the
I
Usos.
ain't gonna lie, Fireballs.
Mhm.
I loved it from once Jay got in there. I felt this promo made me feel it was like one of those fights. You know how at school when you and your brothers and your sister got to pull up on that person because they don't say something about you. It gave me that feeling like, oh man, it's about to go down. Like it felt so real. And I like this is the first time I ever, outside of Roman, see Jay cut a promo like this. This is the Jay I always need. This is the Jay I wish we would have got when he was the world heavyweight champion because I like this promo Jay. Because it had me on the edge of my seat. It had my heart racing like, what's going to go? It felt real even though he
Mm,
might it felt so real that I was like, man, it felt like they was really upset with Punk. And I like that. That's what you want
yeah.
your crowd to feel like, man, they are about to kill Punk. But and I know a lot of people not talking about it. And you did say on DW radio last week, you was like, The Rock is coming. I was like, man, Final Boss, The Rock ain't coming. But you know what, Final Boss? And it's something that I'm surprised people didn't point out. And I think we're back to doing subtle teases. I know you remember back in the day where there was teases and then they used to innovate
Okay.
it into the story. And Punk, once Jimmy pulled back Jay, Punk gave Jimmy a handshake and said, "You know what? I do need to apologize." And before he went on to the next thing, he dapped up Jimmy like Rock used to do Roman when they used to come in and do the bloodline handshake. Every time, they used to dap up each other every time they should get in the ring with each other. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. And I throw the subject out there to you, and I guess I
Uh,
will give it to our crowd here.
I,
Is can The Rock
you
help Punk
you
win this
said
title?
that, man. You said that, but I don't think. I think the idea will be more so what have the Usos turn on Roman and cost him the title. I don't think
Well,
that particular piece. I think that was just to show that whole that piece that there's a
mm,
chance that we're gonna have the Usos realize what Punk said was true about Roman not being a great guy, and we have gotten that before in the past with the Bloodline. But remember what happened at the Rumble. Remember, remember what
yeah.
Roman did. He eliminated. He eliminated also. So remember that. So all that kind of goes into it. And once again, here comes Roman over there doing it for himself once again. Even though a while ago we had to help Roman. Back when we had them versus um, the Lot 2.0. So, but here we go again with Roman. When it's convenient for him, he wants his family. But when it's not his favor, he's all in it for himself. And that would be the realization that we'll have for the Usos yet again about Roman, and you have those doing Punk. So,
Hmm.
um, so I think it's that. I don't think it has anything to do with the Rock. I don't think the Rock has no famous weird handshake. I think that's nothing. hoping and
Well,
praying.
yeah,
But
yeah.
but at the same time, the way they are going, it does seem like that they're bringing out the idea of family members being mad at Punk, and whether it be someone like The Rock or just someone that's already there, like even Solo, even though he's on
Mm-hmm.
SmackDown, get involved in some regard. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so we have all so we have all this kind of going on. Um, and I like it. I think that this is a really great way to build a WrestleMania. I think that as the weeks progress, it's gonna get deeper and deeper and deeper. And I think we're gonna see something great. And we're gonna look at this and we're gonna be like, man, I'm sorry for saying WrestleMania was gonna be trash. Like I'm excited now. I think that's where we're going. Um, Now, hopefully, we'll get all the other matches and feuds to be the same way. We have to have some work put into them, and we kind of get there. Um, which I think we're gonna have that more so with Randy and Cody. I think that's gonna be also a really great thing. I think they're gonna build that up pretty well. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's how I feel. And the last thing I want to say about the closing segment here, and our closing segment, is I like that they're doing this once again at the end. They did it at like the 12-minute mark before the show go off, and it gives me those old school overlapping world vibes. Back when we had the world go on for extra 8 minutes, and around like 11:08, and it kind of leads to
Mm-hmm.
it leads with this really good angle because back in the day, when do we turn in? It's like when do we tune in? The
Yeah.
first 10 minutes of
Yeah.
Raw and the last 10 minutes
Yeah.
of Raw.
Yeah.
You can skip
Yeah.
it, you can do everything else. But the first 10 minutes, the last 10 minutes. And that's
Yeah.
really what PLEs are. The
Yeah.
opener and then the co and then like the co-main event,
Mm-hmm.
the one before the close and the close. Everything else in the middle is kind of like the fluff. So it's like a sandwich, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I like. You have your bread, warms you up. You have your meat and cheese. You have lettuce in there. Who cares about lettuce and tomato? And then you have the nice bunny, bottle, and I like that. That's old school WWE, old school WWF booking. I like it. I would assume we're gonna get some more weeks up to this, up
Yeah.
until WrestleMania. Now, speaking of WrestleMania, it was reported that Brock Lesnar is going to be starting this coming week, Monday, at every single Raw until WrestleMania. Now, what is he going to do for these next few weeks? I don't know. But apparently, he's going to be at
Man, without
every
Paul
single
Heyman, I
one.
think he's gonna go after Seth Rollins. He's got to go after Seth.
Mm-hmm.
He has to. I mean,
You don't think it's
there's
going to be
no.
him and Over?
I don't think so. Cause I mean, who else? Who else? Who else would go after Seth for attacking
Well,
attacking Paul Heyman?
mm.
It has to
I
be.
mean,
It has to be
I
Brock,
think that's
right?
a piece that I think we're all forgetting about how, Seth made Paul Heyman leave and, 50 wrote him off. So I think a lot of us are forgetting that piece, which it makes sense. Now, do I want to see a Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar match? Not really. But I do see the story. The story is there because you had Seth
Mm-hmm.
Rollins, beat up Paul Heyman, write him off. Of course, Paul Heyman is, the wise man of, well, sorry, he's the advocate of Brock
Uh-huh.
Lesnar. So, I get that, but and if that is the case, that makes more sense because that could be a good build up between him and Rollins for this week. I don't know if we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
have a good build up between Overfemi and Brock Lesnar, because of the whole thing is, hey, I'm big, you're big too, and I'm powerful, you're powerful too. So
Mm-hmm.
let's see who's the bigger man, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Not like there's no story there.
Yeah.
So
I'm more into this punk and Roman thing more. I'm really interested in seeing what Roman's going to say to his cousins, because they did say in the segment that they Roman did send them. I'm really interested in that. It looks like Jimmy and Jay are right back. We might well say this is the bloodline story, which it fits anyway because they're part of the family. And it gives them something to do because me and you have always talked about how bad Solo has been getting booked. Now the Usos, it seems like sometimes people forget that they are the tag team
Hey, hey, hey,
champions.
hey, they did not bring out the tag team championship though to face off against Punk. That's backstage now. They said, hey, we're
Well,
not carrying
well,
those
well,
now.
well, well. I know. I mean, that makes sense because this was like a serious moment. But I think people still forget because the only match they have had is with oh who was it? I think it was America Alpha. I think that's still their name. I think those were the only two um they have only defended with so far. They haven't defended against no one else other than that. I thought it was gonna be. I'm thinking it's still gonna be Vision for some reason because it seems like that's the direction they are seem like they want to go. But I do like the like I said I did like the whole Jimmy and Jay thing. Um, I am really interested in seeing what Roman has to say. I'm like you. What is Brock Lesnar going to do this upcoming Monday? Because from what we know, they say Paul Heyman is out indefinitely. Last time they said that he came back with Pump, and we got the whole thing with the favor. So I'm wondering is now this time he's going to be out? Would it be something new? We come back with Braun Breaker, or we come back with Brock Lesnar, and they add something to his story and whoever he comes back with. We'll have to see final boss. Monday has been better than SmackDown, so I do agree with you. Um, I don't know what's going to happen on SmackDown. I'm not really interested in. That's not because they put the title back on Cody. Just it's not. It hasn't been good for a while. SmackDown has not been one of the best
3 hour
shows for
show.
me, but we'll see. But other
Three
than
hour
that, you got
show.
any last stuff? Huh?
That's because it's a 3 hour show.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't think just because it's a 3 hour show, I just think they don't got the stars anymore. I
Three
think
hour
they just don't
show.
got the people there.
3 hour show. Hey, that
Even
becomes
if
more
it was two
prevalent
hours, it
when
wasn't
you
good for
have a
me.
3 hour show because it's gonna fill 3 hours.
Yeah, even when it was
So
two, I still didn't feel like it was good. Final boss. I think I don't know what they need to do. I know many people brought up the draft or doing some switch ups, but we have did some call ups. I don't even think
well,
switch
we're not
ups will
like
do
the
anything. I
draft
don't think
because
so.
well, the draft is not gonna happen because there's no point to it now because people
Yeah,
are not
yeah, yeah,
exclusive to the brand like how they were because the whole red versus blue, Raw versus SmackDown that's been over for some time. So it's not like like we're at the point where hey you can't go over here, you can't go over here. So
yeah,
there's no
yeah.
point of a draft. That's why it kind of
Well,
took away that whole.
I think the reason why people are just saying do something, I think people want something fresh, but I don't think it's something there for them to freshen it up with. Especially with the people who they got. I think we're still going to get the same outcome. I think we just need more better storytelling. If I think that's just in my mind. Um, but other than that, I don't see them doing no bigger than what they're doing now. So far, we'll have to see. Other than that, final boss. You got any last thoughts before we give our few shots up of everyone who come, and then we'll close it out.
No, I know. I think we covered everything.
Shouts out to Z. Shouts out to you, Z. Appreciate you always coming. Shouts out to After the Slam podcast. Stopping by. Like I say, guys, check him out. After the Slam podcast. One of the members of DWE. Shouts out to Greg, the world of Greg. Shouts out to EVP. CJ, like I say, follow him on his YouTube. That's the EVP show on YouTube. Let's see. I think that's all we got who commented today. I don't think we got anyone else that commented. But other than that, that's all we got. Um, to everyone who came out, like I say, shouts out to After Slam, Z, Greg, and EVP. Please give us a follow on our business page. That's Talking Up Podcast. If you're not following us on X, please give us a follow on X. That's
Hey,
Talking Up
hey,
Podcast.
you gotta love how Miami doesn't call it our podcast page. It's our business page.
Shut up. Be quiet in here. Um, really didn't get no call-ins. Hey, you guys, like I said, we'll always put out a link. If you ever want to give a call in, give your thoughts about the SmackDown or Raw, if we're covering both, or if it's just covering the one show or PLE, give us a call in and just give us your thoughts about
Yeah.
what you thought about the
Or
shows that week.
if you're tired of hearing me, or if you're tired of hearing Miami, call in. That way
Yeah.
you can have us shut up. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, we would like to hear from you guys. But hey, we like reading your guys' comments. Thank you guys for commenting. Please give us a subscribe on YouTube. That's Talking Up Podcast on YouTube. Please follow our Twitch page. That's DWE Radio on Twitch. We're live now
Great.
on Twitch, and we're live on our two X accounts that I just gave out on my page. That's Miami the Great 305 and Talking Up Podcast on X. And please give my co-host a follow. That's Final Boss Baby with two B's, one Y, CFO on here. And we'll catch you guys next week. We will not be live this Saturday because Final Boss said, hey, SmackDown will not be good. And like I say, if The Rock shows up, that's on her. Because I will make her do a DWE radio by herself.
Hey, The Rock would not come to a SmackDown because the whole view is on Raw.
Hey, I'll let you do one if it's on you. I'm just saying,
Well,
it's on you. But yeah, and please give everyone, like I say, on our team a follow. After Slam Podcast and CJ show. Other than that, Final Boss Baby, we are out. Remember, the stars are not the limit. It's always no. It's never a glass ceiling. You can always shatter it and break it. You just have to believe in yourself. That is my
radio,
quote for today.
radio,
The
radio,
DWE radio
radio,
is out of here.
radio,
Thank you to
radio,
179 people that come and listen to
radio,
me and Final Boss talk
radio,
about just wild
radio.
stuff.
Radio, not a fucking radio, radio.
Oh my God.
Radio,
My God.
radio, radio,
Anyway. Shut
radio,
up. Anyway,
radio,
but other than that, we'll catch you guys later.
radio,
Yeah. The radio.
radio,
It's the radio that's not on the radio. But guess what? We are on Spotify. So please check us up on Spotify. You guys have been not checking us out.
And hey,
You guys go check it out. If you're wondering where all the other episodes are at, it's on Spotify.
Hey, and here's the other thing too is that we are on the radio, and it's not on the motherfucking radio. However, what we're not in is that we're not stuck in like 2002 or 22. Well, what we're just gonna say, we have moved on. Technology move on. Hey, so some people might be still stuck on spaces. Like it's 2022, and that's on them. But hey, but we're on the radio though. We're not on the radio.
Okay. So it's old nostalgia, but with a new touch to it. That's what you're saying.
Correct. It's,
Okay.
those who felt their gap are the ones, that become extinct. So, there's that.
Okay. I feel you on that one. I think I like that touch to it. Other than that, we'll catch you guys next week. Please stop by everyone's show tomorrow.
Radio.
The EVP will be live on Thursday, covering TNA recap. After Slam has a special interview he's doing on Friday. I know usually you guys don't see him on Friday, but he will be live on Friday. And then later on that night, you have the EVP doing recaps on SmackDown. Yeah, Saturday there's no show, and catch the double hitter again. After Slam will kick off. Friday 13. Everyone will be going live, and Sunday you can catch both of the double hitters. Again, after Slam will come on earlier at that 4 o'clock p.m. slot, and then later on that day at 6 o'clock, you get the EVP scoops. Other than that, we are out, final
Go!
boss. Yeah, scoops. Other than that, guys,
Go!
thank you guys for stopping by. Thanks to After Slam, Greg, E,
Radio.
and EVP.
Radio.
Goodbye. We are
Radio.
out. Uzi out. And remember, make
Radio.
sure you
Bye.
acknowledge your Miami the Great, your host, the
Oh,
head of the
okay,
segment,
hold it out.
your
God
final
damn.
boss,
No,
your boss. She's your
no.
goddamn boss. Shut up. Shut
Yeah,
up.
yeah, that's
Be
true.
quiet. I'm your boss.
And
I'm
it's
your
on.
goddamn boss. Whatever.
Radio.
Even after Slam says scoops. Scoops.
Go!
Bye, y'all.